Right, I think we've got most people on actually now who we knew were attending. Just to remind people as well, actually, we'll be recording a webinar and that will be available at some point after this morning, so it will be distributed if people wanted to see it again. Just a couple of introductions. My name's Martin. I'm the race director for Brighton Half Marathon. I'm joined here by colleague Holly, who is the event manager and also looks after charity partnerships. And later in the webinar, we'll be hearing from Emma, from Rocking Horse, and also from Sean from Just Giving. I put a small itinerary up. First slide, which I hope you can see. A little bit of an overview of what we're going to be doing this morning and the points we're going to go through. So Pav, who's helping us technically. Next slide, if we could. Thank you. Just a little bit of a background about Brighton Half Marathon for those of you who don't know who we are or what we do. It's a Sussex-speaking event, so basically the race is charity owned. The Sussex Beacon is a local HIV charity to Brighton. We work in the community and we have also have our own inpatient unit, so doctors, nurses on site. I'd say we're very well known across Brighton and Sussex in terms of the work we do. We would probably have a national profile amongst the LGBTQ community, but we are a relatively small organisation. In terms of staffing, we would have less than 30 full-time equivalent staff, and just to put it in perspective, probably turnover as a charity of less than sort of 2 million a year. So we're not tiny, but we're certainly in no way one of the larger charities. The importance of Brighton Half Marathon for us is it's the charity's single biggest fundraiser by far. That's fairly obvious, and it's actually vital in terms of funding for us to enable us to deliver services across the city, across Sussex, basically, and that's how important it is to us. In terms of core values, the trustees of the charity always have done, and this is signed off by the trustees, is that they passionately believe that the event should be a platform to enable all charities to benefit from fundraising opportunities, and that's regardless of the size of the charity or resources available. So that's everything from some of the larger national charities through to we have partners who are small volunteer-led organisations with no paid staff. So we try and encompass the whole range, and that's definitely a core value for the event. 2023, believe it or not, will actually be the 33rd year that the event has taken place. Small history, the event was started by the running community locally in Brighton, had a few hundred runners the first couple of years, and then the running community effectively passed over the event to the Sussex Beacon, and we've almost been the custodian of the event sort of ever since. From very small beginnings, we've grown to be, I would say, probably one of the larger half marathons in the UK. And in a normal year, whatever normal means anymore, perhaps I'm talking pre-COVID, we would have had sort of we'd handle around 11,000 registrations, and that's across all our events. That's the half marathon. We have a lot of children's races. You'll probably also see as well, we have a dedicated specific wheelchair race, almost kind of at an elite level really, which we're really proud of as well. So yeah, across it all. Again, pre-COVID, we'd have been handling around sort of 8,000 race finishers. The event this year in February, we hit just under 7. So it's returning to the kind of numbers we had previously. One of the things we're really proud of over those 33 years is that we've never cancelled an event, believe it or not, considering we take place in February and we've had one postponement. That's because of COVID, and that was for 6 months. But yes, the event has taken place every year for those 33 years. We'll show a little bit of video later on how we manage that sometimes, because weather or outdoor can be a challenge. But yeah, I think rolling on as well, the other thing we're quite proud of as well, it's going back probably at least 10 or 12 years now, is the race sells out each year. So we have an allocated number of general registration places, that's signed off by the trustees, and once those numbers are hit, that's it, we close. I think we'd also say as well is once the race sells out and close, we don't reopen. And That's a commitment. I'll talk about that a bit more in a moment, actually. A commitment we've always had as a charity not to do that. Needless to say, being Brighton, we would say that we've got a pretty spectacular course, pretty unusual amongst races. There's a lot of seafront. What I would say generally, though, is that if you're thinking getting involved for runners, it's flat. Of course, it's pretty flat. It's ideal for people who are starting out and want a challenge of a half marathon. And as well as the seafront, we take people through, we believe, some of the best bits of Brighton. So yes, you go past the Royal Pavilion, you'll run past the beach huts in Hove, past the old West Pier, and of course the I-360, and a great finish then on Madeira Drive on the beach effectively. It's pretty good. I think the other big thing that Brighton offers as well is amazing crowd support. Considering we're an event in February, it's not unusual to us to get crowds of around 30,000 people spread around the course. It's pretty big, and it generates a great atmosphere. And I think that the public in Brighton can out support us, and always have to. And I think that's kind of a unique point for us, really. Needless to say, rolling on from that is, yes, we would be classed as Brighton's a destination event. It's fairly obvious. Brighton's got a sort of growing reputation, really, as a great place to visit. And we tend to find of ourselves a lot of runners, particularly kind of demographics that are coming from outside of Brighton, which is a hell of a lot. Our runner numbers will come to that fairly obvious. So it's a pretty family-friendly event in that sense. And I think that's one of the reasons we get such big crowds. So race weekend's pretty busy in Brighton, and yeah, it can be hard to get a hotel. But yeah, it's all good for the city and for ourselves, really. So that's a biggie. I think finally I'd say as well is that we're charity owned, and we do position ourselves very much as a community event, and everything that means. In particular, by that we have massive support from other charities, hopefully people like yourselves, and also running clubs, running groups, and all those voluntary bodies across the city that make events like ours happen. What that translates into is on race weekend, we have around about 450 volunteers support us and help make the event happen, basically. And that's something else we're really proud of. That kind of support we get from across the community. I think it's time for another slide, isn't it?
Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now, the Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now, the Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now, the Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, about now, about now, about now. Right about now, Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now, Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now, Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now, Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now,
Well, thank you for that. Anybody watching it, you probably noticed that a couple of things. Yes, the weather didn't look great. That was from 2020. And I think it just goes to show that in an effort to make sure the event went ahead, we just scaled down the infrastructure. So we took a lot of infrastructure down, but we just absolutely committed to make sure it went ahead. A little bit windy. I'll show you a couple of photos in a moment, but it's not it's Kelly Holmes who very kindly started the race with us this year. More often than not, we do get nice blue skies, and that's kind of what it will often look, believe it or not. You probably also see from that little bit of video as well, obviously we had an intro from Norman Cook, Fatboy Slim, and you probably see one of the guys waving us off at the start with a very big checkered flag was Norman himself. Again, massive supporter of the event, and he very kindly licenses us that music to use in our official videos. Clearly, as a charity, we would not be able to afford the kind of licensing rights, but again, that's the sort of support we get from across the whole kind of Brighton community. I think there's another little photo showing. Let's have a look. Yeah, we go. I mean, that's from February. It was beautiful blue skies, and it gives you a better feel for what it's like on a nice sunny day on the beachfront in Brighton. Right, let's go. I suppose really talking about why considering partnering with us, really. I think I said earlier on is that this thing about some our values and our core values around the event, and we would say, genuinely that fundraising is very much at the heart of the event, and that's a big part of what we do. Sean later on will give you a little bit of sort of facts and figures about fundraising and how that's developed over the years, which I think is a kind of a good insight really into the emphasis we put on that. I also mentioned about that the race sells out each year, and what that provides is effectively a kind of unique charity window. Race closes, and then that's it. It's there for charities basically. And I also said it's a big part of our charity offer is that once the race closes, that's it. We never reopen, and we never put places back on sale. So mainly because when we sell out, we have sold out the places. Really. It's not a sort of some kind of marketing campaign or anything like that. In terms of marketing support, what we would tend to do is we support your kind of promotional activities with our own marketing plan. And that can include radio promotion and web and social media. And that's throughout the year. We have a pretty good dedicated database. Getting on for 40,000 subscribers, it's pretty powerful and very targeted. And we promote that through the year. We also promote own place running as well, particularly as we go through the autumn and into the winter. And also effectively, we'll supply you your own kind of logo, assets, anything you would need to kind of advertise that you're partnering with us basically via a website or other kind of collateral. In terms of media coverage, I think it's kind of worth noting that we do get a lot of coverage, and that's in both local, that's at Brighton, Sussex, and national press. And again, it's just a little bit about because of the history of the race. We've got a really nice article coming up in Runner's World about our history and where we've come from. So we get a lot of coverage in specialist running magazines as well, and they're kind of the sports side of the event. The other thing, we get television coverage, and that's both from ITV and BBC, which is significant. And that's over race weekend, so prior to the race, including often a live broadcast on a Friday evening from the BBC, from Race Village, and very good news coverage of the event. And it gives an emphasis really to some of the numbers we're dealing with and how that kind of works. We also retain, sounds a bit grand, but we do also retain a dedicated PR agency that help us with that, particularly as we get close to race weekend, and help that messaging and positioning get out there basically. That's why we have them. We do so, we have a dedicated account manager. In this case, it's Holly, basically. We kind of head all that up. We also say as well, look, it's great under the phone effectively. And we do encourage people to contact us as often as you need to, really. We also more than happy to come out, meet on site, meet up with people. It's really good. So that's kind of never a problem for us as well. And I think also, to be realistic about why we're partnering with Just Giving, and effectively, from our point of view, we just think it's just going to get that push in terms of what it's all about for all of us, really. It's helping us grow kind of fundraising from the event for all of us. And I think that a more dedicated partnership with Just Giving will give us more opportunities and more insight, I think, for all of us in what we need to do just to grow our fundraising, really. And fundamentally, it's like I say, it's a simple application process, and Holly will talk a little bit more about that in a moment, but it's an application form. We have quite a good charity pack. It's an application form, and that's it. It's not complicated, and it's not meant to be, basically. So there we are. So next slide, I think over to Holly. Yeah, Holly will give a bit more detail on this.
Yeah, hi there. So what you're seeing on the screen now is actually just a summary of the partnership packages that we offer, and this is included in our charity partnership brochure, which some of you might already have a copy of. Again, at the end of this webinar, if you don't have a copy, just contact myself. I think the email has just been distributed, and we can send you information and answer any questions you have. So actually, to enable charities of all sizes to be involved, we've devised these partnership levels where the package is determined by the number of places purchased, which begin at 5 places on the smallest package. This therefore just allows charities to progress easily through the packages and allowing charities to grow their involvement with the event so that there are no big jumps really from one package to the next. For all of our packages, the charity places cost £80, with places costing £70 when committing to a 3-year agreement, which is offered just to the top 3 charity packages. Again, in continuing our theme of supporting all charities, which is obviously, as we've said, at the heart of the event and the charity, Sussex Beacon, we believe that we're competitively priced at that £80, and we've actually not increased that cost for the past over 10 years. So as I said, the top 3 packages can have the benefit of committing to a 3-year agreement, which means obviously website advertising will remain in place from 1 year to the next and will be there on point of sale from day 1 of when we launch the next race. It also helps charities with their budgeting, and also another benefit of those 3-year agreements is we allow a percentage of unused places to be deferred to the next year. So you'll see from here that the package benefits are shown, and obviously with the top package, which is a minimum of 250 places, they will receive all of those benefits that are listed there. So there's some marketing benefits there. There's an offer of having a marquee on race day, which is at the start and finish of the race, where you can meet your runners and advertise what your charity does. We do a lot of newsletter and social media inclusion, and then the top charity also get that entry point on the main registration form, which is really valuable. And then going down to the bottom, the beach partnership, obviously all the charities will get as a basic the logo and link to the website page from our website. So again, if you have any questions on this or you want to know more, just contact myself and we'll gladly help out. I mean, one thing that I will just end on saying is that we obviously want our charity partners to succeed, and I will be your dedicated point of contact. So we are here to support you. So if you have any kind of need on supportive marketing or fundraising, we will either try and help you or we'll put you in touch with another charity. And again, with Just Giving, we hopefully in the future will be looking to do charity networking forums and also more webinars like this for Just Giving, where we can help you with fundraising tips on how to get involved. So yeah, if you have any questions or would like to know more, please do contact me. And I believe we're handing over to Emma now, just to talk a little bit about Rocking Horse's connection to the event.
Hi, I'm Emma. I'm the Sport Engagement Manager at Rocking Horse Children's Charity. So a bit about our charity. We're Brighton based and we've been supporting babies, children, young people and their families throughout Sussex for 55 years. So we work in partnership with local hospitals, respite centres and specialist services all across Sussex. And we basically fund projects, programmes and people that go above and beyond what the NHS are able to provide at the minute. So we're currently funding projects like Medibears. So these are special teddy bears that have the equipment and medical needs of a child going through treatment. So that's to help the children themselves and their siblings and families understand what's happening. Some bespoke and handmade hair accessories that can be worn by children with cancer during illness and their treatment. And also a youth worker who's based in the Children's A&E department up at the Alex, helping children and young people with mental health issues. So we are only a small charity. There's 9 of us overall, but since 1967 when we were formed, we've supported nearly 1 million babies, children, young people and their families across Sussex, which we're really proud of. So with Brighton Half Marathon, next slide please. We are very proud to have been part of the Brighton Half Marathon as a charity partner since 2011. It's been a perfect fit for us as a small local charity. We don't have huge marketing budgets, so we do have to choose which events we invest in really carefully. We do have a lot of our supporters who are based in the Brighton and Sussex areas, so it's really nice to be able to offer an event that's on their doorstep and in Brighton and doesn't involve having to travel and lots of overnight stays and stuff. So for us, it works really well in that way. We've also got a lot of people who take part who've got personal connections to the Alex, so it's quite a nice sort of link, and it's quite poignant when they run past Alex as that's part of the route as well. It's a really well-known event with amazing atmosphere and support as well on the day. Our runners have always loved the crowds along the route. The charity cheer points are always fantastic. There's live music. I've done it myself 5 times, and it's always been amazing. I've loved it. It has been 40-mile-per-hour winds, I think, at some points, and it's also been glorious sunshine. But it's always been, it's always been great. So I've always loved it myself. For Rocking Horse, we've been really proud that we've had since 2011 raised through Brighton Half Marathon over 120,000. And it always just feels like a really important part of the event season, and it's a great way to kick off the event season as well, with taking part in place in February. And obviously with the fundraising side, Just Giving is always a really important part of it as well for our team, so we always encourage them to set up their Just Giving pages and things when they're signing up, so that's always a important part of it. And so for 2023 we're very excited that we're going to be, we're going to be the official charity partner of the Brighton Half Marathon youth races, which is back for the first time in 3 years. So this is a 1-mile race for anyone aged 7 to 17, taking place on the same day as the half marathon, sort of before the main race happens. We just thought, as a children's charity, it seemed like a natural fit for us. Children fundraising to support other children in Sussex, and we really can't wait to be involved with both the youth race and the half marathon in 2023.
Thank you. Sean now, I think, you're going to join us.
Excellent, thanks Martin. So hello everyone, my name's Sean Taylor and I'm a Senior Partnerships Manager at Just Giving. Hopefully you're familiar with us. Just Giving is the world's most trusted platform for online giving. We help people raise money for the charities and the people they care about the most. We've recently celebrated an exciting milestone with £5 billion being raised through the platform for good causes since we launched in the year 2000. So we've worked with the folks at Sussex Beacon on the Brighton Half Marathon for many years now, and we're the official fundraising partner for the event. Since 2015 alone, we've seen over 12,000 runners create a Just Giving page, supporting over 200 charities and raising £5 million for good causes. So what does our partnership mean for you? Well, it means we help put fundraising at the heart of the event, one of the core values of the event and the Sussex Beacon's intentions. And as you, as charities, get access to all the features, resources and knowledge we have at Just Giving, from features within your charity account like campaigns, reporting, and our strong and successful stewardship journey, which guides your supporters through their fundraising journey on Just Giving. And what does that mean for the runners, i.e. your supporters? Well, they too get access to plenty of resources and benefits that make their fundraising journey slicker, quicker, and allow them to focus on hitting their fundraising goal and spreading the word about your cause. Through our fundraiser lifecycle programme, which is our behaviourally based content delivered at key milestones in the fundraiser's journey, we're encouraging the behaviours we know lead to better fundraising results. So, on the next slide, what trends have we seen with this event? Well, we've seen growth in its fundraising impact through the years, and I want to show you here really 3 key metrics that demonstrate that. So the first of those, and possibly the juiciest, is the average raised per page. So in 2015, the average raised per page, inclusive of gift aid, was £432. That's grown to this year, 2022's event, to £644. So that's nearly a 50% increase over that period. So really strong growth. So what feeds the average raised per page? Well, of course, that's the donations those fundraisers are getting on their pages. When we drill down further and have a look, the average donation amount has grown from £23.50 in 2015 to £29.18 in 2022. Also, just as important is the average number of donations per page. Why is that important, you might ask? Well, it tells us the reach your supporters get through their fundraising. Remember that whilst a supporter is out there trying to get donations and from the support of their family and friends, they're also spreading the word about your charity as a kind of ambassador for your organisation. The average number of donations per page grew significantly from 18 to 22 between 2015 and 2022, so 22% increase. So with those key metrics all in, we continue to see strong fundraising impact from this event, and we're excited to continue our partnership with the Brighton Half Marathon to grow this even further.
Right, thank you, Sean. Q&A section now. We've had a couple of questions come in. If I read the first one out, might help. The question is, can you increase the number of places you purchase within the same year? Ollie.
Yeah, the answer to that is absolutely yes. You can purchase a number of places with us and then at a later date purchase some more. That's no problem. You don't have to purchase them all in one go. We don't tend to sell out places, so you can buy those right up until the registration date, which is normally 2 or 3 weeks before the event date. So obviously the earlier you buy the places, the more running time you have to fill those places, the more time you have to market them. So earlier is better. But yes, you can absolutely buy places and then buy some more.
Cool, thank you. And continuing that theme, can you increase the number of places you purchase between event years?
That's an absolute yes again, and as I said earlier, that was the whole point of these packages, to allow charities to develop really through the packages. So if you start off on the beach level 1 year and you find it's very successful, then obviously next year you can go up to the next level or even jump a level, and yeah, it's just determined on the number of places that you buy, which can be changed from 1 year to the next.
Cool. Someone's asked, how do I apply for places? And I think, and also how do charities purchase places, basically, but how do I apply?
Yeah, to apply for places, again, you can contact me, or you can actually find an online form on our website, actually on the fundraising page. It's just an online form with a few questions about your charity that will then be submitted to me. You'll need to send that along with your logo on your link that you want to link to from your logo on our website. We will then just draw up a simple agreement. The charity will then sign that and we'll invoice you for the places. We will then send you, actually, I can see that we've also had a question about this. So we will then send you a login to an account where you will have your runner links. You send those links out to your runners, they fill out the details, and that's one of your places filled. You can download your own reports from there, you can cancel runners from there, or reset the links, the prepaid links. So it's all quite an easy process.
Yeah, just to re-emphasise the thing that Holly was saying is that that's the key thing as well. You can sort of recycle places, because we know, supporters sometimes become ill or injured. You can recycle those places as many times, up until about a couple of weeks before race day, basically, and use a place. There's no extra charge for that, and it's not particularly difficult to do, really. So I think, again, it's quite a good benefit, particularly as people are training through the winter. Quick question on, can we have a presence on the day of the event? I'm presuming that means SharePoints?
Yes, absolutely. As a charity partner, that would need to come through us as an event, but as a charity partner, we would absolutely try and do that for you and try and reserve you with an area, really, but that would need to come through us as an event. But we would absolutely encourage that and absolutely allow charities to have a presence on the course. Your runners.
Cool. There's a question here on what's the split of gender and age of runners. Pick that up. Yeah, it's pretty good. We have roughly, it's almost 50-50 now, male female. As you can imagine, 25-30 years ago, that would have been a very, very different sort of demographic. But no, I think Brighton's one of those events. It's with virtually 50-50 now. Interesting on age of runners, our average age is coming down. Year on year, we're now down to, I think it was 37 for this year, actually, which again tells you a little bit about how kind of running and halves generally are sort of perceived. Oh, here's a good one. Probably final question, actually. How many runners sign up from outside of the Brighton area? Bit crude, this one, because that Brighton postcode goes along way the coast road across to Worthing, if you know the area. Pretty crudely, outside of the actual city of Brighton Hove, probably 60% of all our runners come from outside of that area. Not surprisingly, nowadays have a massive support from London, and we've noticed that's grown incredibly over the last 4 or 5 years, and not just South London. We've always been fairly strong in those areas, but definitely out to new areas with a different demographic in sort of East London now. You can sort of see how populations have moved, but we do draw runners in from across the UK, particularly Midlands as well. Get a lot of people come down from the Midlands, so yeah, and there's a fairly decent overseas contingency as well in a non-COVID environment normally. So yeah, but actually, I think that's our last question. Thank you. As I said, it's being recorded, and a link will be coming out if people want to see it again or want to share it with colleagues. Thanks for joining us and spending some time, and hopefully we'll hear from some of you soon. Thank you.